everyone.
Hey, hey.
Hello, hello. Oh, wait, you normally start.
I know.
Oh, that threw me off.
I know. It threw me off too.
Reset.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, hey, and welcome to After Hours here at Linda's Electric Quilters.
We are super excited to have you with us tonight.
We are. We got the Christmas spirit going on in the office.
do.
I got the tree up today.
You
Or
did.
yesterday. Added more stuff today.
There you go.
So now it looks like we got the snowman up, we got the tree, the sign, the presents.
Definitely got a little more festive. If you were here last week, it wasn't that festive yet. So
We
got,
weren't here
got a
last
little bit
week.
more stuff. Well, no, like last week in the store, if you came to visit us in the store.
Oh, I think I meant last week, like on here.
No,
on the thing.
No.
Yeah, no.
We played hooky.
You want a Santa hat?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Maybe next week, because I have like a Santa outfit I was going to wear.
Okay, got it.
Like technically not a Santa outfit, but a Christmas outfit sweater.
Fair enough.
We'll do ugly sweater Thursday.
Ugly sweater Thursday. Okay, sounds good.
Anyway.
We hope all of you are doing very well. We weren't here last week, so we do want to ask how your Thanksgiving went.
That's right.
Did you do any shopping? What was your favorite thing to eat? What was your least favorite thing to eat? Because there's always a few things at the kitchen table that just...
Oh, you can't go wrong with anything at Thanksgiving.
This one. Hold on.
Why?
Private moment with my friends.
What?
She didn't make deviled eggs for Thanksgiving, folks.
She
didn't make the deviled eggs. I walked out.
And he didn't bring them.
I walked out.
No, you didn't.
I walked out. I left. I ran outside and cried. No, I didn't.
No,
I'm just
he
kidding.
didn't. He's just
But
kidding.
she didn't bring the deviled eggs. You
I
have
know.
to have deviled eggs. That is a staple of Thanksgiving.
And maybe just here in the South. I don't know if that's staple. Is that a staple in your home?
It's everywhere. It's a given.
Are you
it's
sure?
a thing. It's in everything. It's everywhere.
Well, I guess because I cooked everything and had it all prepared for
but
everyone.
the deviled eggs. But the deviled eggs.
So that's going to be on your checklist every year now.
No. You make them better. I could go to HEB and pick them up, but you make them better.
That works. That works.
See, we miss deviled eggs.
Gotcha.
See, everybody likes the deviled eggs.
You're
That's
so
the thing.
funny. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching tonight again. We're super excited to kind of go over a few things on the Fancy This book, a little project that I decided to take on. Do you want to do that now or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that now.
Okay. No, I'm gonna squirrel. Actually.
No, you can't do that yet because you're
just-
going to talk
no.
about it with this.
I wanted to. Oh yeah. I'm off script. I probably should look at my script.
You should have wrote your notes down. Do this one first.
Okay,
do
okay,
that
okay,
first.
okay. So help me out. All right. So I was trying to think of the beds at the house for wintertime kind of needed some new comforters. We haven't bought new comforters in quite some time. And I'm like, Darren and Ryan and I, we like the fluffy kind of comforters to kind of wrap up in, right? To kind of feel like you're all
I feel
wrapped
like
and
most
cozy.
comforters are fluffy.
Yeah. We have our quilts on the bed for decor, but we wanted like a really comfy comforter. So I decided, why not grab wide backs in our store and then put some 12-ounce polyester or 16-ounce polyester in there, being that's the thickness of the 12-ounce. And then that was the thickness of the 16-ounce, and make my own comforter myself, like fast and easy on the quilting machine with Corey's help.
Thank you. She saw the daggers from the corner of her eye that I looked at the camera.
Yeah.
Let me make it by myself.
We did this together.
It was a bonding, moment
experience.
while I was bonding by myself.
No, you weren't.
She was there when I rolled
to
it.
load it.
You did.
And
You
then
did help
I
me
cut
load it.
everything,
That's true. And
I
she cut
trimmed
it.
it, and then I binded it.
You did.
It
You
was a-
bound.
I
You
bounded.
did. You did all the prep work.
All the prep work, all
I
the
did
cutting
the quilting,
afterwards.
and then you did all the ending work.
There we go. See, that's teamwork.
It is teamwork. It makes the dream work.
There we go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It did help loading it because she made these like 90
they're like 90
by 108, like
yeah.
90 by 108, and
They're
that's a lot of
big.
fabric to load onto a frame. You know what I'm talking
It's
about.
a lot
We
of
see each
fabric,
other.
but then when you put that thick batting in there, it becomes big.
Gets to be
Anyway.
a lot.
So
They don't talk to you about this in quilting school.
So look at how comfy and big this is. All this is two, like there's the front kind of, and
Yeah, it's
we just use a really fun square meandering pattern so it would puff all the animals.
Poof, poof.
And then
It does look really cool. It's really hard to tell on camera, but like when it's laying down on something, it literally looks like these patches are flying out at you. It's actually kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, and then we just took and put on the Stroke of Genius on the back so you can kind of see the squares there. But I'm like, that is just super soft because we really like the soft material and probably on the screen.
The Stroke of Genius, it isn't a sateen fabric, but it feels like
Yeah.
sateen. Like, it's really, really nice, and it's 118 inches wide.
Yeah, so that's why I chose it for the backing.
So if you're looking, so if you find like a wide back and you want to try this, and you find just a random fun one that's normally 108, then you can go with one of the Stroke of Geniuses, the Etchings, the Equipoise. There's a few others that are 118, so you're not having to worry about that.
Exactly. But if you're
Extra.
like me and you like stuff really soft, the Stroke of Genius is just so soft.
The Etchings is stuff too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
Etchings
is softer. I
Well,
feel like
yeah,
this
it's
is
a little
softer.
softer.
Anyway, so then I decided I needed one for the guest room. We started off just for one for Ryan. I'm like, we're just going to do one, that's all. But then after I found out how easy it was like, what? Cut the fabric, throw it on. Let's do big wide quilts so we can have big puffy quilting and then bind it. Right?
Y'all know how it is, big wide quilting with really puffy batting, how the fabric reacts to that. It's easy.
Well, we just had to do a little maneuvering.
It
But
was
worked
fine.
out.
It's easy to work out. You know, quilting, it all eats it up.
Anyway, so then we did this one. So
I
for
love this one.
Yeah, so we did this one. It's called Footstool is the name of its fabric.
I love this fabric.
Yeah, and we did this
so cool.
for the guest bed.
And
And
there's
then we did the
blues.
Stroke of Genius on the
There's
back.
blues on the back.
So just one of my patterns, just kind of big, open, and wide.
Which one is this? Crescent waves or
Crescent
something
waves.
like that?
Yep. And then after that, I'm like, oh, maybe we should make another
She
one.
just keeps adding more and more. She's like, oh, well, we have another guest room. I said, yes, you have another guest room.
But hey, but this is really fun. So this is going to show you really how thick it is with the 16 ounce. We just did front and back.
Oh, that's one thing you didn't mention.
Oh, the
So
different.
the first one we did 16 ounce,
Yeah.
which was the really poofy. The second one for the guest room, we did 12 ounce, which is a little less poofy because you don't know if when the guests are coming, if they really want poofy
poofy or
stuff.
not? So we did 12 ounce.
So we lowered it down a little bit. And then when we got to this one, we said, who cares what the guests want? We're going back up to the poofy stuff.
I just like the poofy stuff. So
roll
we
it
didn't
this
really
way.
say who cares, but we just we wanted to make sure the poofy stuff. No, that's this way.
No, Mom, the fish fly this way.
I know, that's what I'm doing.
I know, but fold it over a little bit
Oh,
because
oh,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
hanging down. There you go. Now we're talking.
So I have a fishing pattern online. It's called Summer Fishing, and I just did the different. I can't go any higher.
You got this, buddy. Just.
We're gonna swim.
No, we're not. You're probably gonna take your Dramamine, folks. You're probably getting them all.
Anyway, so we
Busy.
decided we wanted to put fishes on this one because the boys like to fish. So
It's really cute.
yeah. Anyway, so you can see how puffy the fishes are.
Yeah, and the 16 makes the fishes really pop.
So but the difference. Tell them the difference between 12 ounce and 16 ounce. You had to raise your hopping foot on the 16
Yeah, the
ounce.
16 and the 20, you have to raise your hopping foot because it gets to be a little bit much. The 16 you could get away with not, but you definitely need a cup foot or a spoon foot, depending
Yeah.
on which machine you have. But if you go to 20, you have to raise that hopping foot. Otherwise, the foot is dragging way too much on the top of the material,
Yeah.
which won't hurt the material, but it's going to really mess up shrinkage, and then it's going to look like this. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, so basically, if you do decide you want to try really thick batting like that, there's some comfy batting. If you do like a 16.96 or the 20.96 that we sell, or even probably the Cloud Loft, or
Yeah, Cloud Loft's going to give you, I guess we should go through measurements too. Cloud
yeah.
Loft is going to give you about 5/8 approximate inch
Yeah.
in loft.
which
The
should be
12
almost
ounce.
about like that. This is 12 ounce.
Yeah, 12 ounce is going to give you 3/4.
Okay.
And 16 is
So
going
a
to give you
little
an
less.
inch.
Okay. And then the 16.
One thing about the polys, and we have this on our website, but I think it just gets overlooked because it's kind of right there.
Yeah, this is good.
When you get these polyester battings or any heirloom product,
They're gonna
80/20,
look like this.
poly down,
Yeah.
heirloom wool,
batting.
any of the battings that come in a bag that aren't the Tuscany line,
Yeah.
which there's not very many anymore
Yeah.
that are Tuscany, but they are tightly compressed into a bag
Yes.
on a machine, so that way we can get them to you for a whole lot cheaper than what it really would be to send it if they were at their full loft capacity.
Shipping wise.
So shipping wise. So what I mean by that is when you get a batting or when you're thinking about, you're like, oh, I'm getting really close, probably 10 quilts left in this roll of batting, I need to order another one. Order another one, open it up, and let it loft up naturally. It's going to take about a week to 2 weeks for it to really get to where it needs to.
Yeah.
Longer is even better. But it's getting air back in the batting, it's lofting it back up, and you will be so much happier with the product.
Basically anything that has the poly in it, so like you're saying 80-20 poly or like a wool,
Yeah.
it's all going to be compressed. So
Yeah.
sometimes people get
I
it.
want to show them.
Yeah, sometimes people will get it and they
show
open
how
it.
tight it was. Press it down with your fingers.
Like it's usually that tight. So look, it's always that tight, and look how big it got. So it's the same thing with all of the battings. They're going to be that tight when you first get them. You got to give them time to loft back up. If it has a poly product in it, it's going to be tight.
I feel like
It's going
Santa
to look
Claus.
really thin. 80-20s will come in really thin, but after a couple weeks, you go, wow.
See how poofy this gets?
Yeah, that gets really poofy.
It's super duper poofy.
And
You could wear it as a hat.
And you know how small these are when you
Yeah,
get
they
them.
come in really small rolls, but when they loft up over time, it gets all the wrinkles out.
Yeah.
It just gets it back to like, oh, this is a really, really nice batting.
Yeah, didn't mean to give a lecture on that, but we have a lot of people that ask us and they'll go, it's so thin, it's so thin. I'm like, you got to give it some
You
air.
have to
Let
open
it
out of the
breathe.
bag, let it sit out, and
Yeah.
let it breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
You will be shocked the
Yeah,
difference that you're
how
going to have.
fast it gets bigger. Yeah, for sure. Okay, now that we probably should get to the training. Let's talk. Well, you want to talk about
I
this
think
real
that
quick?
was training too.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I think we did teach us something. Go ahead.
We're
Now,
teaching stuff. Okay.
take it away.
One more thing before we dive into Fancy This tonight, because that's why
We
you're
just
really
missed
here.
so much not talking to you last week, so now we're trying to put it all into one thing.
I know, we got a lot going on.
I know.
Yesterday, I was super duper excited to announce my new partnership, joint forces with Joyce Lundergan. What we are doing is she does this amazing club called All-in-One, or AIO. And she has the digital piecing pattern, she has the digital quilting patterns, and then she has the instruction on how to do it. The instructions are based off of a different machine format,
Yeah.
a different machine type. Well, what Joyce and I have collaborated on is she will provide the piecing instructions and the digital patterns, and I get to do the quilting instruction and video for the Innova Autopilot Mach 3.
Yeah.
So I get to take on the previous all-in-ones that she's worked on and kind of translate them into Innova language.
There you
and
go.
so we just released the
launched
first
your
one.
first one.
This is the 9-patch time quilt. It's about 47 by 50 and some change. And it's available on our website, longarmsupplies.net. The best part, it's only $30.
For the whole tutorial. I'm
You get
I'm like,
the
that's
piecing.
a
I know.
steal.
She tried to get me to up it. I said, no, can't do that to the folks. That gets the patterns to quilt it. That
Yep.
gets the piecing pattern to piece the quilt together with the fabric requirements that you need.
Mm-hmm.
That gets you the written instructions that you can download. They don't get mailed to you. It's all digital. Written instructions and videos to go with that
You
on
can't
how
beat
to
that.
quilt that. You can't beat
No.
it. It's the best.
I told him, I'm like, are you sure you only want to charge 30? He's like,
$30.
yeah, because he has a lot he wants to put out there. So that's a really, really good, cost-effective way to get some training.
And really
fast.
get you on your autopilot learning more different things.
Yeah,
And if
exactly.
you have a different machine format, you can still go to Joyce's website to get other machine formats.
Okay.
It won't have the actual written instructions in that language
Yeah.
if you have a Pro Stitcher or something else like that. But you could still take advantage of those as well if you want to try to tackle it on your own.
Tackle it on your own. Speaking of 9-patch,
Yes.
so now I can show this. I found the cutest game on Black Friday. This was actually, it's called Patchwork, and I got it at Target on Black Friday. And I'm like, a quilting, and it was actually in their ad. I'm like, there's a quilting game out there? So, you know, I like games, so I had to buy it.
I'm
I-
making that my ringtone. There's a quilting game.
So I haven't
That's my new ringtone.
I haven't played it yet because nobody's played with me.
She just brought it to the office.
I
Don't let
did.
her lie to y'all.
But I want to know if you guys have seen it. Patchwork.
cute.
It only lets a player of 2, but you actually just put little patches and stuff together and make a quilt. So I'm curious if you guys, anybody have seen this or played this game.
This is kind of nifty.
You get a little board, and I'm not a reseller of this product, but it was just fun to show. And you have they give you little things, little pieces of quilts, like to put together, and you make your own quilt.
That's kind of nifty.
Isn't that cute?
Look at
I was
you.
just curious if anybody's seen it and played
Patchwork
it.
Americana edition.
Yeah,
I wonder if there's other patchwork ones.
I don't know, but I was just so surprised to see that.
Cool.
Anyway, I just had to show that.
I love that.
Yep.
That's the best.
All right, let's get to showing Fancy This.
We ready to get
That's
to
why
some?
you're really
We
here.
ready
You
to
wanna
get
see
to
some
some?
Fancy This.
Ready to get to some other stuff?
Yeah, let's get to some other stuff.
Okay, cool. All right, so tonight we are going to dive into doing some straight line ruler work
Okay.
around an applique
Okay.
or motif or whatever you have. And then we're also going to look at doing a fern that travels up the border and just kind of having fun with crisscross quilting with that to give it dimension. And that's where we're at.
All righty.
Yeah, we've got 2 cool things for you tonight.
All right, let's take it away.
All right, so we're going to dive back to the machine.
Okay.
And this is where we are. Let's fix some lighting we've got going on here. Had a few lighting issues. Alrighty, now we're back in business. And Mom, do we have any comments? I tried to check it while I was over there. But I
Just
feel like...
they need a tutorial on making a comforter. We could
Okay.
definitely put something together like that. Somebody, the deviled eggs comment, love deviled eggs.
yeah,
Got
deviled eggs is
that
the
one.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Judy was like, I never knew you needed to let the batting loft like that because,
Oh, it's a
you know,
big
once they
thing.
get the batting, they're ready to quilt, which I get that.
Yeah,
Definitely let it loft. You'd be surprised you'll get so much more out of it when you let your batting loft.
definitely.
All right.
Alrighty, so tonight in the Fancy This book, we are going to be on page 11, looking at the line work. So I have my ruler base on, and I've got a little...
Knock, knock.
You got to knock. They got to know it's
knock,
there.
who's there?
Yeah. And I've got a little patch of cork here that we're going to quilt around just so you have the idea. You could have just a heart. You could have, you know, a Sunbonnet Sue, any type of stuff. We're also going to be using my favorite ruler, which is the 4x8 ruler. Now, this has 1/4" line markings throughout it, along with 45-degree and 90-degree lines. Also has a 8" measuring here as well. I've added grip dots onto the back of the ruler, as I always have, just to keep it from shifting while I'm working.
Oh my gosh, grip dots are the best.
They're
I
the
didn't have
best.
them on my ruler at the house over Thanksgiving, and my ruler kept shifting constantly.
I don't like that for you, I'm sorry. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be doing straight line quilting back and forth, and then when we get to here, I'll show you the technique that we will to work around this piece. I've added in my little imaginary line with my Ultimate marking pencil. I also should probably do a diagonal one too, so let me throw that in real quick. Just mark this diagonally, just so we have kind of a place that we want to stop. There we go, this quilting. So you want to decide ahead of time which line distance you want to take, if you want to do 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever way you want to go. I will tell you 1/4 inch spacing. It sounds really nice, but it does get really, really tight. So do keep that in mind depending on where you're at in the process. So tonight we're going to do 1/2 inch spacing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is quilt a straight line from left to right here. I'll pull up my thread. And last time when we were filming, we had a question about what thread we're using. Tonight we're using the Permacore Quilters Edition PQE. Sheer Yellow, I think, is the one that we're using. Mom, any help? Yep, Sheer Yellow. Okay, she said yes.
Oh, the Quilters Edition, yes.
Yes, okay. She's too busy looking at the screen.
Yep.
All right. And we will start off by this. Again, good placement on holding your ruler, your pinky on one side and your thumb on the other, and then your other 3 fingers sitting on top. We will also line up one of the straight line markings with the ditch or with the straight line that you've added in.
Anything you were showing?
Yeah, we can. I was just showing it.
The ruler, when you were showing the ruler. There we go.
I held it up here.
Okay.
Okay, straight line. Line that up with a straight line here so you know you're staying precise. So we'll line that up, hold that, and then start our quilting. Coming right across. Once we get to the edge work, then we are going to travel up. Huh?
Can we lift that up, or do you need
Oh, no, I don't need it.
that way? It's not in the way.
It's going to be a little squeaky because I didn't loosen it all the way. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. And then we're going to travel up just a random distance, trying to kind of gauge where we need to be. Now, what I want to do following this marking, since I want to do 1/2 inch distances, I'm going to go to the 1/2 inch line, which is the first line here. I want to line the line up that says the 1/2 inch marking with the stitching line that I have on the fabric. So it looks like I need to go up a tad bit more. There we go.
Oh, good
until I get
idea.
that exactly where I need it. Place my hands where I want again. Make sure the foot of the machine is pressing against the ruler. Start up your machine and travel over. Okay, then we can travel up. We can use the side of our ruler to travel up a 1/2 inch, which is 2 line markings. And if I match this up, I should be right where I need to be. This one I'm kind of just eyeballing without a ruler so I can easily get to that line mark. Mom, are we loving this?
Yes, it looks great. I love the guidelines on there.
I think you're loving this. I know you are.
Yeah, that's why I'm just
There
like
we go.
steadily watching.
So you're just bouncing back and forth. Now, if you wanted to do 1/4 inch line spacing, you would line up the top of the ruler on the stitching line that you've already done, because your ruler foot is a 1/4 inch foot. So whatever that's against, wherever you're stitching, will end up giving you a 1/4 inch line. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your thing. So you're just going to travel up the ditch, line up your line, and travel across. We're going up the ditch here, kind of guessing as we go, get that in alignment. Perfect, and travel back. Remaining to hold pressure onto the ruler, but not too much that it doesn't allow the machine to move.
So on the questions you have on there, we will definitely get to your questions when he's done doing this segment.
What questions do you have?
Oh, they're not cool. They're about other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we'll let you finish.
As long
this.
as they're not pertaining to this, though.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Want to make sure they get those answered while we're right here with it. So you're just going back and forth as you go. It gets to be pretty therapeutic. And then this is, this kind of gives you the way if you don't have channel locks on your machine. This is an easy way to achieve that same look by following the amazing guidelines on this 4x8 ruler. This ruler is one of many that is available on our website, longarmsupplies.net. And we're just working our way across this as we go. One big thing to note, the reason you can have multiple different rulers as well, let me stop that, oh, that's good, we're good, okay, good, is we want to make sure that this is going to be able to go across our entire section. So say this was a larger piece, then I might want to amp up or opt in for the 4x12 ruler, so I have a little bit more working room to quilt across and not have to shift the ruler. So there's your different options there that you have. All right, so it looks like this one's going to go right underneath that patch. We got lucky there on that one, didn't we? And then we're going to travel. Now this bends that way, so we're going to travel one direction and then travel up until we get our lines matching. Just like that. Now, you're going to travel towards your applique, and instead of jumping over it, just continue up that same process. We're just going to do the right side now. As we go, and back. Up, and back. Once you get a movement of this and you start to really kind of gauge what distance you're going to need, then this is a really quick and easy thing. Now right here, this is a great thing to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. Right here, we can't really go up much further and jump to the right without causing too much of a stir, because it's just going to have a regular, just weird stop line of stitching. So right here at the top, we're actually going to travel up a little bit, go over the applique and come back down and finish our line off to the left. Then we're going to go up and back. Or actually, no, let's fill this in too since we're going. That'll be fun. Do it all at one time. Let's do that. So we're going to travel up and use our ruler to help us stay in the ditch. And then travel down just a hair. Want to get our line on our ruler back in a line with the one here on the right that we know is right. One on the right that we know is right. That's a lot of rights. Come down and stitch across. Now, we have these other lines here on the side that we can do now, or you can come back later and do them, completely up to you. We'll go ahead and get them done now since we're here. I'm going to travel down to where we need to kind of pick up, because it's always easier to go away when you're doing ruler work, so you're not behind the foot and not seeing where your ruler is, your machine is, anything like that. You always want that ruler in front of you. So we'll travel down the ditch. We're going to guesstimate that amount, get that line, and come over. Travel up until we get things lined up, and over. Travel up, and over. Travel up, ooh, too far, and over. And we've got that side filled in and that side filled in without a bunch of overstitching all the way around or jump stitching, keeping the machine moving. We've already got the next line done, so we're just going to hop up over that. Get in alignment with where we need to be all the way across. And go for it. You'll travel up, alignment, and go for it. Up, alignment. You can kind of make a song out of it if you want to. Up, and align. We are almost done with this section. Now for this one, I have some overlapping fern or teardrops, so I'm just kind of slowly stitching around that just to make sure that I am staying good. Again, we're there. And back. Up. I think we got one more left on us here. Barely. There. And then we'll curve up to that.
Voila.
Just like that.
Looks
so good line work around the section that you have. Now, one thing to note, in the book, Linda does it around a quilted piece. So I'll show you that. Around a quilted piece here. And she has line work in the middle. Go ahead, do all of your outside line work first. Tie off your thread, come back, line up your ruler, and then do your inside line work. Don't try to jump across and try to fill it in. It's going to take too much time and have too many tie-offs. Do all that outside work first to lock it down, and then come in and do the inside. Say you have a basket that has an open handle that you need to do line work in, or different things like that. Always get that outside done and work your way in.
Alrighty. What's next?
Next, we are going to bounce over to Fern. So we got to do a little camera resetting. I don't know if there was anything else that you wanted to show this evening from front camera. Was there anything else you wanted to see?
No, just go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, she was supposed to
why-
say, yeah, I do.
Well, while you're moving stuff over, we had a few questions. We had one that says she doesn't have a digital ability on her long arm, so basically computerized long arm. Can you purchase the printouts and the pattern and everything without having the digital thing and be able to do it manually? Or do they come in pantographs at all?
No.
No? Okay.
Unfortunately, no. It's just a digital only thing.
Yeah, so Joanne, it sounds like you could get the patterns and
You could get the
piecing pattern.
You could get the piecing pattern and the
instructions
on what to do.
But it wouldn't come with the actual patterns if you paper pantographs. They're just digital.
Right.
But that was a good question to ask.
That is a really good question.
So there's still a lot you can learn there, though, even if you didn't have the.
Well, it's cool to also just get the piecing pattern.
Yeah, so that all comes with it as well.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then we had a question about throwing the batting in the dryer to loft. If you have time not to do that, it's better to let it loft on its own. That dryer is kind of like if you're in a pinch and you need to use that batting really fast. That's when you would put it in a no heat with a damp.
Air fluff only.
Air fluff only with a damp rag.
Yeah.
Like really damp, not really damp,
No,
just like
just
light damp.
light damp. You don't want to put polyester batting in a hot dryer
No.
by itself without anything around it. It will melt.
Just air. What do you call it?
Air fluff.
Air fluff. Air
fluff it.
No heat. No heat. So those are good questions. Keep the questions coming. Thanks everyone for watching from all over. We got people from everywhere tonight. It's awesome.
Woohoo! We love that.
Are you repositioned?
I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm almost done. Hold on. Let me make sure.
You get to see us. Voila.
You get
I
to
can
see
dance.
the craziness behind the
The
camera.
scenes, yeah.
This is behind the scenes work.
Alrighty.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
There we go.
Okay. So on the right section, in the border, kind of this section of it, we are going to be doing page 18, which is the fern. So I'm going to grab my Ultimate marking pencil because I like to mark things out. Even if I have an idea of what I'm working on, I still like to mark it out just to give myself some type of blueprint to follow. And this pencil, since it comes off so easy with just a hot iron, it's just, why not mark it, you know? So what I want to start off with is giving myself a stem to follow. So I want to start at the base of where I'm going to place this fern. So I'm going to take my machine down to the bottom of its throat space and then go up just a hair, and I'm going to mark where the bottom is because I want to add some frilly stuff here. And so we'll say this is going to be the base of our fern. We're going to travel up, give it some curvature. I'm running into my ruler plate here. There we go, give it some curvature. Once we get up towards the top, curve it off to the side. And then now what you're going to do is spike it back. And your fern is really tight spikes, and they can overlap one another, but they just spike back and forth, kind of like a feather in the motion of it, but all you're doing is coming up and spiking, but it adds really great texture to whatever you're working on, and it really just makes it pop. You want to add in little tiny ones, you can. Add in a little big one there, you can. So it kind of looks like flames almost.
Yeah.
In that instance.
Fern flames.
Fern flames, there you go. So we have our first one down. Now we're going to travel back up because you want to give it a nice little double stem. So we're going to give a tad bit of a gap. Not a lot, tad bit of a gap. Travel up off to the side and spike your way back down. This one I'll leave unspiked, but you're going to go all the way back down. And then we're going to add in some little floral stuff. So I'm going to give it a little teardrop here at the bottom. And then you could come off and give yourself some curly cues to flare it out a little bit. Come off to the side. Little curly cues and curly cues. Just like that.
Looks good.
Okay, so that's our little fern there. And now we get to quilt. So we're going to start here at the base, pull up our thread, give ourselves a tie off, so we lock our threads down, and then we will travel up. Ooh, I'm going to do this without stitch regulated.
Okay.
I think I'm going to do it without stitch regulated. We're going to do it without. We're going to represent the people that don't have a regulator, because some don't.
There you go. Alrighty.
So we're going to travel up. Curve off to one side, spike it, and back. You can overlap those. As you're working. Never be afraid to do the overlap. It adds great texture to this.
So Teddy quilting, that is actually a really good question. The Ultimate marker pencil actually comes with a pencil sharpener when you purchase it from us, or you can use a pencil sharpener if you already have one. Yeah, it does really good just sharpening with the pencil sharpener. And he typically does have it a little bit sharper, but I think we just forgot to sharpen it.
Okay, now we're traveling back up with our double stem, using my hopping foot a little bit to give myself distance, and then we're off to the side again. There's something so therapeutic about a constant hum. Move my threads over. Just like that. I was getting into a trance. I was falling asleep doing that.
I know, it looks really good though.
I know it looks good, but I'm just saying, I tell you, there's something therapeutic about that just hum.
Yeah.
It just makes you just go off into another world.
Yeah.
Another quilting world. Oh, look at that. That looks
really
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
So again, not being afraid to jump over the lines with that, that's kind of the lesson there, and giving yourself different texture. It actually looks like the quilting itself is frilling off of the quilt.
Yeah.
Which is super duper cool.
Looks good.
That's what I got for you tonight.
Alrighty.
That's what I've got in this part 5.
So we have a really good question about if you're quilting on high loft batting, if you do it before it rises, like say you just throw it on before it rises, do you have to use a spoon foot still? So basically you're putting it on and letting it rise after the quilting.
No, you don't have to use a spoon foot if it's
Still compressed.
still compressed. However, I will caution you doing that if you don't do big, huge, wide stitching like some of the ones that we did, like the fish and stuff. It's not really going to loft up that much more if you do tight, circles and stuff like that that are relatively small.
Because you're not giving it the room.
It's not going to have a whole lot of room to loft up.
Oh,
it's
see.
just going to say, all right, well, this is what I got, so I'm sleeping here,
I guess what you're
it'll give
saying-
it a little bit of loft. But to answer your question, no, you do not have to have a cut foot to do super duper low loft. However, the catch-22 of that is if you do it before it has lofted up, you won't get the full loft potential after the fact.
If you're using a tighter pattern.
If you're using a tighter pattern, yeah.
Yep. Good question, though. That's a really good
That's a
question.
really good question, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Good job.
So
Good
thanks
thought.
for that. All righty. I think we are good.
Are we?
Yeah. Do you have any other questions or thoughts or concerns?
Well, I mean, I always have thoughts. Concerns depends on the day.
Yeah, no, we're all good.
But I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode as we looked at using ruler work, because I know a lot of you always have questions about ruler work and
Yes.
using a template. Templates are a lot of fun. Do not be afraid of them. It's just kind of that proper hold. Pinky on one side, thumb on the other, 3 fingers on top.
And again, he was going off the reference in the Fancy This book, which is on our website. You can get the hard copy or the downloadable copy.
Correct.
So
either or,
really cost effective.
wherever it goes.
All righty.
Is that everything?
I think that's it.
I think we love that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And hope you swing over to the website and grab the book, grab some fabric. If you're a Nova Autopilot person, swing over, check out the all-in-ones. I think you're going to be really excited.
Yep.
And grab them. I think you're going to enjoy that.
Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.